Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Heyo and welcome today, and welcome to my Inktober stream. So, the first drawing you're seeing right here in front of you, and, was a drawing that I had in mind for the first day. The first day's word was ring, so that was interesting. I had kind of the idea sketched out in my book, like, a week or so before. Um, it was just kind of playing around with how I would do Inktober, if I would actually do it, and things like that. I was just playing around, doodling and stuff like that, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. Um, this year again, I would usually do it every year. I was thinking, well, maybe not this year because I got other stuff on. But I decided to give it a go because how I've done it like 3 or 4 years in a row now, and it's just something I don't want to stop doing, I guess. It's a yearly kind of routine that I've got going on. It gives me, 31 drawings. And last year, I think it was last year, I did one of the drawings into a painting. And I did that the same this year. I've drawn one of the drawings into an actual painting. And the second word was mindless, which is an interesting word too. Each word that I got from the prompt list. There's 31-day prompt list there. Feel free to, if you want to do it yourself. You don't have to do it in October. You can just do it 31 days your own pace. If you're up for that kind of challenge, or just want to get better at inking. It's just that it happens so Inktober has 31 days. And it's easier to do it day 1, day 2, blah blah, in those 31 days, and you get more, obviously, more feedback and watches and things like that from people that are watching your inks and things like that. If you want a little bit of publicity in that month, people that do inks, some of them are well known for doing Inktober. But it is what it is. It's just challenge, and people have been doing it like digitally in the last couple of years or so, because a lot of people get into digital art and things like that. Which, I mean, it's fine. They're doing their own thing. Ink is one of those things. I mean, the whole thing of it being Inktober is it's meant to get you better at drawing inks with ink on physical paper. It's not for getting better at digital art or drawing or blah blah blah, but it's getting you better at inks. For me, I do use it to get better at drawing, because drawing in ink really defines it. It's this is what the drawing is. It really makes it a final drawing kind of a thing. So using it to get better at drawing, as well as a little bit of inking if I can. I can only do so much because with each day's drawing I have only so much time. For me, I only have up to an hour each day to do these inks, and that's including getting the drawing done and other stuff. And that's including like getting tomorrow's drawing sussed and the idea and everything. All together, every day getting all the drawings and make sure Inktober goes smoothly. I don't have any missed days, or I don't stop doing Inktober or anything like that because it gets too challenging and I just don't have the time during the day. I just make sure that it goes quite nicely. Like, there were times that I might have not much on at lunch or anything on at all at lunch. Sometimes I might have something on at lunch to do these inks, so I had to think about when I would do them, when I would maybe ink them in the morning, early in the morning, or ink them as soon as I get to work or something like that when I can. I just always kind of jotted down times in my head that was best for each day, each day was different, and that's what's good about the challenge. There's obviously, there are days that I get through the ink very quickly, or I just want to get it done. And there are days where I go a little bit more into it, a bit more depth into it, put a bit more elements in it or something, have a bit more fun. Um, and yeah, there are days that I enjoy it more than others. It was hard for me on the weekends to do it because um, it's on top of doing my other videos for YouTube. So it only takes like 15-20 minutes to draw an ink it, ish, somewhere between I would say 20 and an hour ish, depending, to get it all sketched out and then inked up, um, somewhere around there. And I had to deal with baby, obviously, and family kind of things that we got going on. So I tried to have the drawing done and inked. But I was busy on Friday at some point, so I didn't have a base drawing there to just ink over. I had to actually draw it and then ink it. Um, Most days were set up so I did just have the ink to do, and then I can work on tomorrow's drawing to ink up. So I was mainly working on the ink side of things on the ink day. I mean, it's up to anyone, how you take it, whether you decide to do it like fully in ink. Maybe next year, I think that if I do this, and there's probably a possibility that I will do this next year, that I will be just drawing it in ink. Like I won't draw a base drawing, I'll just draw in ink. Now that can be challenging because one, if I make a mistake, I'm going to have to use that mistake in some way or some form without like ruining my drawing or start again. And I don't like starting again, especially when I've only got 31 pages in my sketchbook or something, or 31 ink pages to do, and I've only got 31 ink pages, so there's no really option for starting again. But certainly, yeah, it would be challenging. This one here that you see on screen is Enchanted, and I think I feel one of my bad ones per se. It wasn't the best out of the lot. I mean, it's okay for what it was. I was struggling with the word a little bit of what to do. So, it is what it is. I did get it done. But yeah, I do feel like it's not as strong as some of the others. There are obviously some weaker ones. There are even some ones that the sketches that I initially did in my sketchbook are better than the actual inks. Which is unfortunate. It's just obviously that I've drawn them again, and there's just a tiny little element that I got wrong in what it looks like in the sketchbook. It just pots it off, and that's the challenges of it. You've got to accept what you've done, and that's what ink does. It really shows you that this is the final thing. There's no going back after you inked it, and that's that. This is the final, blah blah blah. Like it just reinforces this image looks like this. It's not like digital where you can kind of go back and edit it and change like the points and erase back if you need to and re-ink it in some places. So it teaches you that whole thing of just making a mark. But I'd be happy to do it in just ink next year. Obviously, I've got to expect not too great drawings. I mean, I'm not after for this Inktober. I wasn't after 31 amazing drawings or great drawings that I'd be happy like giving maybe my fans or something. I was just kind of doing it for myself. I think that's what's important, is to do it for yourself, because you learn a lot more. Um, yeah, and you just keep better and better each day. If you're starting out, every day's an improvement. If you're kind of done it for a couple of years or something, it starts at slow improvement, just slow improvements every day. Um, but it was real fun just exploring like each word in each day, trying to come up with ideas for each day that were new and interesting and involved creatures in some way. Because that was the main focus this month, was creatures. Last year I dealt with going outside of just drawing reference. I was always constantly just drawing reference. Um, I was always doing that. So I wanted to explore a bit more on drawing that. Oh, sorry, last year was humans, I think. I wanted to get better at humans, so I kept drawing humans for 31 days without any reference. The year before that, I wanted to push out of just using reference and try and explore what's in my head straight off the bat. I did that again this year as well. I did draw without any reference, maybe a little bit if I needed it, but I didn't really use any reference at all. I think Husky was the one that was more heavenly, kind of more focused with using reference a little bit more. I used a bit more reference in that in the Husky drawing, but for the rest of them I didn't use like any reference at all really. I think there might have been one or two that I needed reference other than that, but other than that I kind of explored ideas with my sketchbook and kind of developed them a bit further as much as I can. And even I got time to just draw as well, which is good. When I've done my Inktober and I've done tomorrow's drawing, is ready, and I've got the day after that idea kind of sussed. Then I may have 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something, or even 10 sometimes, after doing all that. Then I do like just doodle for fun. Sometimes I get that, sometimes I don't. It depends on how busy I am and things like that. So I did that and did some fun drawings and doodles as well. Usually, like every lunchtime, I just do fun doodles. And it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just me kind of doodling, just some fun stuff, just drawing for the sake of drawing, which is fine. But you don't get this guided thing. You don't get like, well, I achieved this today. This is my drawing. This is what I drew today. And every day I had that, this is my drawing that I did, and it's it's alright drawing. So I ended up with 31 alright drawings in the end. So I'm considering like keeping that kind of flow with things at the moment, with my sketchbook. I know my sketchbook's getting pretty full at the moment, because I've just been drawing and drawing and drawing in my lunch breaks and just filling it up and drawing references that I find, drawing fun exploration, been doing some stuff for my children's book, and also planning ahead for my next projects, just drawing my next projects. Some future paintings I want to do at some point, when I do get time. I'm not too sure when that would be. Hopefully one day, I want to do traditional paintings again, but the whole thing with recording at the moment is really hard. But one day I would like to paint them. My next option would be digitally painting it and then like printing on canvas or something like that, because it's easier to record. I still get the painting done. Um, but yeah, we'll see how that works, if it works or it doesn't work, things like that. Sometimes it's just like learning drawing hands, and just trying to get better at certain subjects that I feel like I'm not that great in. I definitely think this year with doing this, I've gotten better at definitely like exploring fresher kind of things. I tried to, at the start of it all, I tried to break away from just drawing side view, which is like, yeah, just kind of designing the character. With side view, it's really, really easy to do, obviously, because, yeah, it's on its side. It's the most easiest thing to draw when you're drawing a creature. So I try to break away from that just to show a little bit more of the creature, to show, a little bit more of the character if I need to. I felt that I've done a little bit more of that this year, showing a bit more story in my illustrations. It's not just, for instance, swing, it's not just someone on a swing. It was a bat swinging, or like with this one, which is Ash. It's his marshmallows on fire and getting ashed. And it is side view, but it does show a little bit more about this character. This one was interesting here. Overgrown here. Just I had a few ideas. I wasn't 100% sure with it. I definitely feel like there's things I can do better, like the learning about thick and thin line, because I was pretty much drawing most things with my brush pen, which doesn't go thick and thin that well. But I was trying to learn that a little bit more, making some lines thinner and thicker. I tried playing around with that on my last drawing, really. Um, so I've got more to explore there. I think, I keep on going, because 31 days is great. It's a great challenge to do. It's great to get better and better. But if you keep on going, and you get so much better over time. Just doing it for 31 days is fine, but pushing a bit further, obviously on top of that will get you better, get you to higher levels, and that's what I want to do. And and doing Inktober as well helps with all sorts of other medias that you may use. And for me, I mean, don't take offense to anyone that is listening to these videos. There is a lot out there at the moment that I can see, looking at Reddit, looking at like YouTube, Facebook, quite a few places and sources that I've seen at the moment. There's a lot of that kind of people that are stuck on digital, and they don't want to try anything else, and they just do digital, which is, there's nothing wrong with just doing digital, but they try and see like, well, what's the best brush to use, what's the best setting on Photoshop to use, which, yeah, nothing wrong with that again, but it's just that when kind of learning a bit more, trying different mediums, just trying to get your sketchbook out a little bit and take it with you, basically that whole motto, of not just sitting on your desk and painting, and then when you're outside kind of exploring and things like that, you don't have a sketchbook with you, you're not kind of drawing or learning anything. I mean, it's fun to go on walks and stuff like that, and break time from doing a lot of like painting and digital painting. But yeah, every now and again, just get off your computer and go in, take a sketchbook with you, a physical sketchbook, and go draw, other things outside. It's something that I haven't done in quite a little bit, but I do at work, sketch at work. I don't sketch what's there, I sketch kind of other stuff. Sometimes, I might draw a chair or something that's there. It's coming on summer, so I mean, I could in the near little future, I could at lunch, take a little picnic, and go draw something that's outside. I don't know how far I'll get, but I may go somewhere and draw what I see a little bit outside. But yeah, it does, doing this Inktober in ink, it does help in digital as well, get learning about thick and thin line. You gotta know everything you do digitally to know how to do it traditionally, and the same goes vice versa, You need to know how to do it like traditionally to do it digitally as well. Um, there's those little things too, like knowing how to kind of paint textures and create things people like rely on, like brushes to make their pieces look like they've got texture on them. But not knowing how it kind of works, how light works, hits surfaces, how rendering traditionally has taught me a lot, that I can know how to do it digitally. So yeah, just learning those key things is important. It doesn't matter what kind of medium you use, but just understanding it. I think I would recommend doing Inktober in ink, because it's so much useful. It's so helpful. Each your own of how much you want to put in. The more you put in, the more you get out. If you do have the time, put every, your 8 hours into, and 8 hours a day into these ink drawings. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of time, so I can't put like 8 hours. I can only put up to an hour each day into these inks. Um, so yeah, that's why my inks ain't the best inks out there. It's just me doing these ink drawings. That it's helped me. It's helped me grow basically with each drawing that I've done. I can flick through now my book, and flick through the drawings. I've got the other ink somewhere in my abundance of stuff, because I've got quite a few drawing books and ink books and all sorts in my cupboard and under my bed and stuff like that have a lot of these ink drawings. So there's quite a few to go through, but I can look at them, go back to them, and yeah, like look at what I did last year and compare them, all sorts of stuff that I could do. That might be interesting to do to see if I've improved over the last year or two. Yeah, and that's another thing, is me doing this annually each year. I can look at what I did last year and compare what I did to this year. See if I done better. See if I've done worse, or how each day went, and things like that. And compare the experiences. This year I definitely have gotten a little bit more time, I guess, on some of these drawings. And I've had lots of fun in this one. The year before was challenging because I was going against what I know. I don't really know a lot about human anatomy. And yeah, so I went against everything I know. And yeah, it just was really challenging. This year it's with my strong point, which it's with characters, but on top of that, Obviously, I wasn't using much reference, but yeah, just exploring ideas and things. So I was kind of focusing on some of my weak points and some of the drawings and things like that. I felt this one was fun with the dinosaur. I do have a dinosaur project coming up with a dinosaur character. Um, which would be cool to do when I get to round to it. I still got to finish this Henry the Hedgehog book. As far as I know, I've got a name for it. At the moment, that's what I'm calling it. It's what the project's called. And it's a really big project. Obviously, I'm up to page 5. That's officially finished. And I've got side projects that I do every now and again just to keep me fresh, and kind of so I don't lose too much interest, because I don't want to be like struggling doing this one thing for so long that I get tired and frustrated and I'm not doing it. I'd rather stop for a little bit, go do this other thing, this other little project on the side, do it for a little bit, finish that, come back with fresh eyes or whatever, and go to the next um, part of this book or whatever I'm doing on this book or this project, and continue that. Doing this Inktober was another little project on the side, which is cool. Um, I had my book at the time. I had this little Inktober project, which an hour-ish a day. Um, so balancing those two wasn't much of a challenge for me. There was a little bit of times where it was a challenge, like I said, on the weekend. But other than that, it was pretty smooth. Like, I think that I could potentially like keep going, like, yeah, forever basically. Um, but there are some days that it's better not to do it. Like, for instance, the weekend. Um, it's fine to do it, but it's just that it does like cut into a little bit of that time of me that I could be illustrating. Um, but it does give me that also that I'm drawing something else. It's not just my painting that I'm doing on the weekend, um, which is fine and fun. I feel like that I could possibly, spend 20 minutes possibly a day just drawing and doodling some other stuff on the weekend, and then like get into my actual painting stuff, the stuff that needs to be done, which just kind of gave me that. Yeah, and it headed in the direction, I wasn't just mindlessly doodling every day. I was like trying to break down the word. For instance, this word that I've got in front of you is ghost. Yeah, I just try to think about how to represent a ghost. Um, and same with this ancient. I had a few ideas for ancient. I was looking at maybe like an old ancient creature or something, like standing creature, but I did kind of that before. Um, when I did Frail, you would have seen the Frail, the lady, with all the wrinkles and stuff. I felt like it was going to be too close to that drawing, so I ended up thinking, oh, ancient, like ancient snake, and played around a little bit and gave him like a mustache, well, not mustache, a beard, um, and yeah, just had a little fun with that idea instead of going the other way. Um, and this is what I ended up with, which I felt was lots of fun. Oh, goodness teeth. Yeah, sorry about that. I just sneezed there. As you do. But yeah, every day, I felt like I grew. Hopefully, you did your inks. If you didn't, it's fine. Let me know, your experience with what you did with your ink. Did you enjoy the Inktober experience? Did you like do the first few days and kind of give up, or did you keep on going? What kept you going? For me, what kept me going through Inktober, I guess, was it was kind of like a checklist. It was, I needed to get it done. Um, I needed a list, a to-do list. It was just the 31 drawings I guess I needed to do. It was, yeah, I needed to knock off those drawings every day and just doing one a day, and kept on doing it. I knocked it off and got the whole task complete, the whole 31 days complete. That's kind of what kept me going. And also, seeing what I did with every day, I was really, I was, excited to see words, what I would do for each day. For instance, like, this word tasty, I was interested to see what I would do with that, how I would kind of make tasty feel in an illustration. Um, and yeah, just exploring different things. I try to go against quick and easy as much as I can, like there were a few that obviously I went for a little bit more quick and easy, like husky, um, or overgrown. I felt was a little bit quick and easy, like overgrown pig, hairy kind of thing. But it was a little bit, fun for me to do that kind of idea. But I was going against kind of easy, kind of, for instance, treasure, I guess. Treasure, just a pile of treasure. Or, you know, um, this one, tasty, it's just a tasty treat on the floor. Or, I was trying to add a little bit more to it. It wasn't just swing, it's a swing. Like I said before. Or this one, dark, just have a creature in a dark place. It was a little bit more to it, that this creature was staring into a dark hole. And that's the way I represented it. And it was, interesting to see how I represented each day. Um, and I enjoyed seeing each drawing, how it turned out. Obviously there were days that I was like, oh, little bit like, I'd say disappointed per se, but I liked the drawing, it was good, but it still was like, oh, I could have done more, or I felt like it could have been better, but it is what it is, and I was happy to complete the whole 31 days. Obviously, if I had all the time in the world, I could go back and fix some of the drawings, and that would be awesome to do, but you know and there is still time for that. I mean, I've started on doing one of the drawings from this Inktober into a painting, so there is that whole opportunity that I could take one of these drawings, another one of these drawings that I do feel like need a bit more to them, um, and kind of have fun just um improving on that, and getting that into a painting or something. And that can happen, there are like people I've heard doing these challenges, not just Inktober, say like Mermaid, or some art station challenge they've done online, or some challenge. They do a little challenge, and then something in that challenge kind of sparks something, and they create something from it, like really cool, like a book, or a full-fledged comic illustration, or something like that. They create from just a challenge of create a character, and then they create character, and it goes a bit further. That's kind of what happened to me when I was doing like illustration. I was just kind of exploring kind of robots, drawing robots and things like that. And then, I was doing illustration for the second time round, so I got to actually like design my own classes. What I was actually doing, as long as it fit the criteria, because it was the same project. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't want to do the same projects. I wanted to do something a bit more fun. So decided to you know make sure I have the same criteria and everything, but change it up so there was something um interesting about it, and eventually that got me to designing a character um for a children's book, a robot character for a children's book. Um and that was awesome. I eventually got the whole style and how it was look, and a little bit of what the story could be as well from doing those little projects. Um, and then I had to do a page from the book eventually, and then eventually I used that to then further the project and make a whole book about it. Um, so it's always fun to kind of do those things, and it's the same thing that can happen with Inktober. There are some drawings that I really want to end up into paintings one day, and I end up painting it like Ring. Day one, you'll see that eventually turn into a painting. And yeah, it's coming out in a couple of weeks or so. You'll see me kind of paint it in the next couple of weeks. So that'd be awesome. Um, yeah, so you see me doing those drawings, and it's always fun to get something out of it. Um, yeah, and I do feel like I get something out of it. Obviously, I get 31 Inktober drawings. Yeah, which is, achievement. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't have those 31 drawings. It's obviously created this video each year, which has been really helpful to have like an Inktober video each year. Just me like discussing my Inktober experience, um, and showing you guys on YouTube all my Inktober drawings one by one. Go through them a little bit, but in this one I haven't really talked about each individual image. I mean, I could, but then it would come down to time for each image, and I don't really want to spend all day talking about each image. I just want to get through it and yeah, just chat to you guys about my experience with Inktober and things like that. So it's been a good experience. Hopefully, you've enjoyed listening to me ramble about Inktober for about 40-ish minutes now. 38, going on 30, 40, going on 40 minutes. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, seeing my Inktobers. I had fun doing this catch one as well. That was fun. I think the sketch in my sketchbook for this one is better. It captured the character a little bit better. I don't know, it's just his smile or something was a little bit off. And with that smile looking a little bit off, he looked a little bit kind of lazily catching this rat kind of a creature. So that what I wanted to show, but it's in my sketchbooks. It'll always be there. I'd like to explore this one day. Maybe there's something here that I'd like to explore. I had a fun little character in my book that I decided to draw. And I brought him into this Inktober for day 31 for ripe. Everyone has like this thingy that by day 31 is like gonna be your most amazing ink ever. But in the end, it is what it is. It's a challenge, and like I said, you can keep going. I could keep going. Obviously, if I was to keep going, I'd probably do it at a little bit of a different pace. So I'd basically do like Monday to Thursday, like 4 days a week or something, where I'd be doing these things, or because that's kind of with my routine at the moment. That's kind of what I'm 100% capable of doing, and I love to keep it up. So I'm looking at doing it. At the moment didn't have today because I had lunch out and stuff like that. but you know, looking at next week, I might do a couple of ink drawings or something like that, and another book that I'll post to Instagram and stuff like that. So feel free to follow my Instagram. I feel like, you know, because I've been doing these inks every day, I've been posting them to Instagram every day. Um, I still want to kind of keep that going a little bit. You know, I quite enjoy just sharing some of my artwork on there, some of my drawings, other than just my paintings and my YouTube videos. So I'm probably gonna do a little bit more of that, or just sharing some of my some better drawings, not all the sketches in my sketchbook. I do quite a few. I'd say at least um 6, 7 ish drawings per day in my sketchbook, around about. I mean, it can be just one if I kind of draw a really good one, really good detail, and takes me the whole lunchtime to do it or something like that. But usually it's about 7 sketches or something, so I won't share every drawing I do in there, but I'll try and share like one a day as far as I can, you know, 4 days a week, plus doing these video shares as well on the weekend, as much as I can as well, just because to keep that going kind of thing. I really enjoy doing that. So you know, thanks for coming in, I really do appreciate it. Feel free to answer any of those questions I did ask during the stream, whether you know, enjoyed doing Inktober. You know, are you going to do it again? Would you do it again? That's my main question, is would you do Inktober again? Feel free to, you know, answer that in the description. Feel free to, you know, like, share, subscribe for more videos. I really do appreciate that. I know I say it quite a bit, but if you subscribe, we can keep this content going, keep this channel alive. Thanks for checking out this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.